Thank you for tuning in to another installment here tonight of FOMO Fridays if you're a fan of it. But also, I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Even though we're in a downturn, you will notice some of the ones that you get used to seeing on a daily basis end up disappearing. Let me get that fog off of here. But a lot of people, will come back in the end. But when it gets into trying times like this, they don't find a reason to pay attention to the charts, pay attention to the daily flow. But I personally believe that this is the single most important time to be paying attention to everything, because this is where we can lose ourselves within the patterns, within the charts. And these are the true opportunities of whether or not we're actually going to be able to flow or not. How are we going to react in the future? How are we going to react with the adoption? So before I get started, I'd like to, just say hi to everybody like I always do, as I greatly appreciate everybody's continued support, as it's the best time in my opinion. You get to know the ones who are going to be around in the absolute worst of times, but then when it gets through the better times, you're going to know if they have that vocabulary, if they have the information, to be able to actually tell you what to do going forward. There's nothing worse than somebody who comes along but hasn't been around during, let's just say, while we're going through the downturn, and then it's all we're going up, but then they don't acknowledge that there is big downturns. So I like to stay around when these things are happening, because this is the most important stuff. This is when you can learn the most. So it always means more to me in these times when somebody's watching than more so when we're having a pump or a rally, because people will come in by the thousands into the crypto space, hundreds of thousands, millions. But it's these times when most people disappear. So I commend everybody for being here. Chat, welcome in. MC Prosperity, good evening. Rockin' Painter, Dean, Crypto Roger, John Hall, Gypsy Flat, Donald Troop, welcome in. Albert Bowers, Driver, good evening. One of the mods in the house, welcome, welcome, welcome. Christopher Jason McDonald says top 1%. Nope, not late, chat, not at all. Just starting. Devin, good evening. Another mod in the house. Mitchell, welcome in. Sam, happy Friday. Happy Friday indeed. It's always a happy Friday when it's FOMO Fridays, and I like when the prices are going down on FOMO Fridays. Mitchell, welcome in. Sam, good evening. Miss Vicky, welcome in. Love, as always. So happy when you're in the house. So happy. Alejandro, welcome in. Got my first silver purchase today once it hit the 80s. Beautiful. What a beautiful way to start. An 80-to-1 ratio. Fantastic. So you know what you're doing. Jay, good evening. Brocken, XRP Painter, you're welcome. KM, thank you for the $9.99 donation to start the stream. Wow, really? That's a quick donation. Mike P, James, Juan Brito, Dean, Truth Hurts, and Jantra, good evening. Hamza, glad you made it home safely. I have a 750 Honda Shadow. Nice. Mike P, yo, good evening. Sashir, welcome. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well as well, my friend. I thank everybody for tuning in. I really do. So anyhow, with XRP, let's just get into the intro real quick, just so I can timestamp this real quickly. Good evening. 7:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, September 1st, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Christopher, buy all dips, he says. Absolutely. But you have to buy it within a range. So it depends how much you have. If I was still accumulating besides more than when it's 20% below my buy-in, then I would be. But I'm accumulating other things when it's not in my range. That's the beauty of doing this. So I also want to talk about something tonight besides FOMO Fridays. JW, welcome in, my friend. So awesome to see you here. Another one that has been around through some of the true trying times, so it means something more. It's really awesome, some of the ones who are in here right now. But I have something else to share. So we have a lot we talk about with XRP and XLM and Jeb McCaleb against Christian A. Larson's and Brad Garlinghouse. Well, I have something from 2019 that I watched again, and I just so happened to stop it here at 8 minutes and 15 seconds, and it was a stellar question and answer. And it was just a beautiful question that was asked. And they talk about XRP and XLM, but the difference, how XLM's mainly just like for a gas, or XRP's for like a gas fee. And Stellar, XLM, the token is actually used for more than just that, and it's a way of re-siphoning it. So there is a reason why I always tell everybody, if you have XRP, please equal weight with tokens with XLM and XDC. There is a chance that XRP is put out here as a deception. Not saying it's not going to go to big levels, but a deception in the fact that XLM is much cheaper, XDC even cheaper at that, but XLM, with the way it goes through with its mechanism, we'll get into this in a little bit, but with the way so when you make a purchase on XRP, it goes through, the money goes into fiat. So if they do it, it automatically turns into fiat. With XLM, when you buy it, it goes through the XLM token after the purchase before it goes into the other fiat. Even if it exchanges it out, it'll go back into lumens before the sale. There's a two-step process. So you're actually getting a lot more liquidity that way. And because they're talking about, I don't want to get into it much more besides that because I'm going to end up confusing everybody before I even get there. So let's just get into the XRP. Let's get into the charts. And this should by no means make you be like, oh my God, XRP's a pile of shit. No, this just further pushes that we're on the right page by having more than just XRP. So, oh, I know what XLM is, believe me. Believe me, chat. I know what XLM is. I think there's the big conspiracy with those two, that it was just made, and it was an agreement. There was no hatred. I think there was just they needed to make a retail coin, a retail token. Too many people are buying XRP anyhow. So for XRP, with the chart right now, 5 minutes before the daily close, so this is very important. XRP right now, the 50-cent psychological level. This is important because we broke outside of the ascending triangle, essentially. Not essentially, we did. But we've created what we've already established, a wider channel. So I believe the technical target, if it breaks, XRP is broken into 1 million drops. XLM is broken into 10. Hey, thank you, Sam. You said it better than I could have. But yeah, so anybody who's a fan of Stellar Lumen, see, here's my big dilemma. I cover so much XRP on this station because I am the XRP future millionaire that I've often been tempted, and it's hard to separate the content, but I firmly believe my XLM stuff gets lost in the shuffle on this station all the time, and it makes it hard. So it's just too much work to create another station. I did one time a Dogecoin station and became partner, and it was like, Jesus, that, you know, I wasn't. So it's like, I think a lot of stuff gets lost in the shuffle. Hey, Tom, I'm up to 110,000 XRP and 166,000 XLM. No, that's better than what I'm saying. Like, with the allotment that I talk about, I'm talking about, let's just say you had 10,000 tokens of XRP, not by money weight, but just by token weight. Oh, I'm doing great, HR, doing very well. Driver, I swear it's like a school class every time I come in, except I want to be here and love to learn about this stuff. Me too. Me too. I love to learn about this stuff too. That's why I started doing this. Jose, good evening, my brother. Jose freshly back at home in the last couple weeks or so after a nice long stay in Mexico. What a lucky guy. So, right now, this is the ascending triangle formation. We broke down. Remember, we had the retest in the daily time frame. We retested up here, came down now. Let's get rid of this. We talked about the short term. We only like to keep them there when it's within, but the bigger patterns you want to keep on here because that's how you get your stuff. This is just more for more in the lives. But this is what we need. So XRP fell through the formation now. But what we established during one of the lives, if anybody's been sticking around for a little bit, we went through the channel. It looks like a rising channel was formed here. It's easier to see in the 4 hourly, but it's definitely formed. Actually, you can see it in both time frames. So once this formation gets a rejection, and 50 cents is what we're looking for. 50 cents is what we're looking for. So if we look at the 30-minute time frame, a rejection at the 50 cent mark would be the signal for about a 10.2% drop. We'll measure it out here, but it'll come down to the bottom of the channel. That's at 447. So that's basically one of your last two strongholds before the 2020 uptrend. So you've got the bottom of the rising channel, which actually it's about an 11% drop roughly. 10.8, 10.2, pretty much the same. So you come down to the bottom of the channel at about 447 area. You break through that, then you got to come down to 4358, and that's about a 13% drop. Well, if you break that, you come down to the 2020 uptrend, which is where it seems like we're probably going to come. Obviously, if we hold the channel, that's an area we could hold. I don't think we're holding 435. If the channel breaks, I hold very small stock in us holding the 435. I don't think it's going to hold. So then you're looking at a 24.5% correction here. And like, that's a healthy correction. And everybody will say, well, Tom, does that mean that the golden cross in the weekly is invalidated? Ironically, no. I know it sounds crazy, but no. For this to be invalidated now, you need this 20-day, and it would have to be a volatile move. Let's say we're at 37 cents. This will probably work its way back to a squeeze. I don't know if it'll come back below the 51.5 cents, the 20-day, if we're down at 37 cents, but I don't believe it's going to come back through. I could be wrong. I don't think it would have enough pressure to even pull through the 100. It might, but until it comes through the 200, you don't have a full-blown correction. So we'll see. So it won't necessarily break down. And the other thing is, what if we come down there on a quick wick? Like if we end this Sunday, and let's just say because it's a holiday weekend, I mean, we could dump on a holiday weekend. We're closed on Monday, which means the futures goes an extra day. So that always adds interest to it. You know, we should start talking about every month, even though we don't futures trade, about shorting XRP every month when the billion X row, we should do a segment here. I'm being serious here. Everybody just let me know your opinion, because I've been charting this the last 6 months to see what our ratio would be, and it would be 100%. I haven't bet on it, but I've been doing a little mapping out in my tablet. So I was thinking, for extra capital, we're in a hard time, and it's not guaranteed, because nothing's guaranteed in life, that we find our spot the day before escrow, the 2 days before, we watch for the sudden push up, and then we wait it out, and then the day before escrow drop, we find that perfect moment where we know, okay, well, this is the end of the short-term rally, and then we start to try to play it like that. But the only way you could do that is not if it was from your portfolio. And I'm talking, maybe we start as $50 as a community, or $100 as a community. And whenever it's the day before, we talk about the trade, and it doesn't even have to be anything more than a 2x. You know, we're not talking about a 100x trade or a 50x or even a 10x. We're talking about, as a community, learn good fundamentals if you're going to try to do this. And we can capitalize on moments when there's high volatility, when you're having the 1 billion escrow drop. And understanding that you can capitalize almost every single week on even a move like this. Let's say you have $100 to start. Let's say you have $100 to start. And on August 31st, so the 30th, so we seen the top out here, and we knew once 524, whatever, we knew this was a bad rotation here when we had the bearish hammer. So then we could just funnel it down here. So let's just say we did it from there. You're talking about even on a 2x trade, you'd be up about 11%. So now after the first week, or the first month, you could go from 100 to 110 bucks. And then you work on from there. Well, maybe 1 week, you know, this the continuation still. So we wouldn't be necessarily done yet, because you can see the formation. We would technically be trying to play a move down to here. So I just wonder what everybody's opinion on that is. I know it can confuse, but I'm trying to figure out how to teach people the whole picture. So the importance of leverage trading, not to do it yourself, but to understand how the smart money moves. If you understand where the money moves, even if we do it as simulated, we can even do it through a simulator. I don't care. It doesn't have to be with real money on the exchange. We can do it through simulated money. I just think when you do it with real money, you tend to do real decisions. When you do fake money, it's fake decisions. No, Christopher, if I didn't own XRP right now, I've already said the first spot that I would be targeting would be somewhere. I mean, you could already do it under, I mean, anywhere. So So that was just my question, and it was something I've been thinking about for a long time. Just live in a tent till we move. Yeah, I mean, we could. Let's say I have a decent. I don't even know what the rest of that conversation was. Wait for sub 40 cents to buy, Tom. No. See, I already said that message before. I told you once I bought it when it was sub 40 cents, that message I wasn't going to pass anymore. That message is ended, but it's still, I am not buying until it goes under 34.5 cents because of my buy-in. I've always thought sub 40 cents was the best buy because I think there's too much manipulation going up top. Exhibit A. Now the retracement, and now probably a breakdown below 40 cents. But we can't get there until we break the rising channel and then the swing low at 435. So I'm not saying that I would not buy it here, but that could be a Batman top. Doesn't it look like a Batman top? On a bear flag? So to me, it looks like we've got further downside. I know. Believe me, I know this isn't the sexiest kind of update because everybody wants to see everything going up. But these are the ones that you really figure it out. These are the ones you figure it out. And I'm surprised there's so many people here on the holiday weekend in the USA. Although a lot of my audience is in the UK. So. Hey, Roland, no one's going to judge you for that. No one will judge you for that. So with XRP, the main thing we're looking for is about a 10% drop. And I really don't see much of a way to avoid this next fall here. We talked about the one way to avoid this is if we can break back up and close over 50 cents. Well, on the daily, we obviously close below it. So that's out the window. So now we're going to have to reverse this very quickly. We've already given up 524, and now the further thing we've given up, which is more of a, this is more urgency when you give up the actual formation pattern. We gave up the ascending formation, the ascending triangle. So that means our next formation is going to be coming down here. So that's what we're looking at here with XRP. There's not much more I can say about that. This will get dull. Not a lot of people are going to want to hear this information today, and I get it. So it's been 17 minutes, 78 people watching, 46 likes. Make sure to hit that like button. This will really help push the content. I greatly appreciate everybody who continues to show me the support, even on these downturns, as it's not the best times. It's not the best times. Kyle, I appreciate that. That's why I don't necessarily like to pay attention to the amount of viewers. I like to pay attention to the substance of the comments. That's why I don't check how many viewers are in here very often. But I like to see how many people are commenting. I think that is more substance than the actual viewers. No offense if we have a ton of viewers, but that's not what I mean. I think everybody can understand. You can become unified within the comments. It's a very powerful thing. So XLM, and we'll get into this Jed McCaleb thing that I was talking about. XLM has bounced back within the formation, but there is not much strength here at all. Not much at all. And much like XRP, XLM has a bear. Well, XRP is farther along in the pattern, much farther. But we have this bearish cross, and the only thing we've been bouncing around is within the formation we broke down out of, and the wider pattern. That's it. We had a fake out to the outside of the pattern. We kind of squeezed, but this is where the estimated breakout would be our best opportunity out of this formation. If we break down that, we would just come back down to the 8-7 line, and we're in a very extended, and I mean extended. So here, let me get this out of the way so I don't confuse anybody. We're in a much here, let me do this. Wow, Sam, thank you so much for the $19.99 donation. I greatly appreciate that. Wow. Seriously, thank you so much. Much too generous. It always means a lot when somebody's willing to spend their hard-earned money on what I do. I don't think there's another word that can describe that, because it's not like I'm going to a job to clock in and you have no reason to send me any money. Or a donation, I should say, unless I'm really doing something to help. So that's, I don't know, it just means a lot. Roland, I'm getting shaken out of my fiat. Yep, that is a good comment, ladies and gentlemen. See, some people ask me what's the reason of accumulating now, even if it's going to go down. Well, one, we're in a bear market, so you accumulate bear markets. Anybody who says otherwise hasn't traded before. You're not supposed to necessarily swing trade your bags in a bear market. You're trying to accumulate for the maximum possible return. You know, maximum possible return doesn't account for a 30% capital gains tax every time you trade a big bag. And that's the other reason why I am against futures trading. Every time you do a futures trade, and why I hinted maybe we should just do it through a simulation, every time you futures trade, you still have the same hit. It's crypto. So that's why it really makes you think twice. And then it compounds. So, I mean, does that look like what XLM's in? Something like that, what it broke out of? I think that's what it broke out of. That might be the best interpretation. So that's what we're fighting to stay out of. And then what ended up happening is when we came back down to the bottom of the support, and I always do this in real time when I switch the patterns. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted. But I like to do it in real time so everybody, if they want to do a chart, now we're looking for, so this is a bear flag. Now we're looking for some kind of change up in the formation. And well, we got a change up because this was an inverted head and shoulders. It looks like a left, this is the left arm, head formed, right arm breakout. Couldn't convert it, or couldn't confirm it. So we completed the inverted head and shoulders pattern. We didn't continue though. We didn't have a continuation on. But I think this finished out this segment of it. Now, if it doesn't break down and break the head formation, technically you come down to 7-1 and not kill this pattern. And it can still come out. See how this had a volatile shakedown? Up, volatile shakedown. It could match it, then bounce back out. We don't know. So if you're doing this, this was this little bit of a, I guess you could call it a falling channel in a sense. But, I mean, what you can call it whatever you want. Right? So the uptrending support here formed. And I'll show you why this is important. Whoops. Why I like to do this. So this is on the inverted head. So this is when we started to have this uptrend forming. So that was a couple times there at least. So we'll match it up. So now, assuming that that's the uptrend that's formed after we had a breakout, that's going to be a spot where you're probably going to retest more times than not. So now that we know that area, we have the uptrending support. Well, now what the heck was the pattern formation it was in? I mean, again, everything looks like these weird channels that you could technically say are forming. And, I mean, this is not always the case, things lining up like this. But this is, remember how we said it's almost just like XRP? So if it's almost like XRP, it might as well be like XRP. I mean, it looks exactly the same. It's creating these little channels within channels. So what exactly is happening? Well, if this plays out like this, I'm telling you right now, that's the setup for an inverted head and shoulder, and that would be a massive reversal. This would be if this falls back in here, just follow for a sec. And honestly, I feel liberated tonight because it's a holiday weekend, and I think I feel like I'm at my best when I feel like I can communicate better with less of a crowd. I don't know why that is, but I feel bad sometimes when I can't talk to everybody. So today I can talk to everybody. So, then we broke up. Now, if we come back into this channel and we retest it, technically, you could remake an arm, or you're falling in the channel, you broke out into here, you had a volatile move, and now you retest it. Hey, you can come down here and then break back out. I mean, that could be creating left shoulder, head, back, and maybe the right shoulder hasn't been created yet. So if you look at this, you come down, come down, come down, and then you come out. I mean, that's possible. That is definitely possible. But if you break down that formation, and that's basically going to tell you how much is left in this pattern. How much do we have left in XLM? If we get rejected here, which my guess is we're going to get rejected. So you could look for a run up almost to 12 cents if it wants to come up to the top, which is also the importance of figuring this out. And then you start to see how it plays through. Oh, well, how convenient. This pattern formation that we broke down from, which we're going to invalidate and delete it because we don't want to confuse ourselves. Now it gets taken over by the channel because that's actually what's going on. We had an overzealous takeout. So when XRP was ruled not a security for retail and programmatical sales, everybody thinks XRP had the biggest run on the day. It had the second biggest run. XLM had 114% move on the same day on some exchanges, 107 on the other. The most I seen on XRP was like 95. That's not bad. But XLM is 100% linked to XRP, and there's an even better way we can do this pattern. Make sure you hit that like button, and I applaud the 85 people that are here watching me do XLM even. I can't wait. I can't wait, because I have some relaxation cannabis when we get into it. I can't wait to get into what Judd McCaleb said in 2019. Because I watch everything and I rewatch it over and over until something clicks. And that was something I've seen before. And we'll give credit to who I seen post. I don't even know who they are, but they posted it, so I like them now. Because it's the only thing I've seen. But at least they gave good. I think they've got like a. We're going to go over it. We'll go over it because if you decide to subscribe to their station when we get there, just let them know Tom's Army sent you. Or no, not Tom's Army. XRP Future Millionaire. They've only got 11,000 subscribers right now. And I say only 11 because a lot of people we usually talk about have 50, 100. I don't even have that many. I only have 18,000. So, you know, if you add another zero, that's when I think you're getting somewhere. But doing tremendous, this person. 11,000 is incredible. So, think about it. Starting from zero, it's not very easy, let me tell you. But you can further this person's channel after if you want to. So, this is the formation XLM's actually in. This is the formation. Yep, it did. So, hopefully, we didn't see anything out here, but we're assuming maybe somebody was burning something they should have, we're hoping. Because it wasn't widespread, so it definitely went down. But if we break down here, that's how we would get the clearance to come down to first 8.7, and then we might retest the channel. Because I believe we formed a channel here, so that could come all the way to 7.9. Now, if we break back up and break that 11.9 area, you would have to break past, and this is why it's important to have these points up, you would have to break past 12.7 to reverse this pattern. So anything 12.7 or lower, we've got a problem. Oh yeah, the smoke was insane last night. We don't know where it came from. It was coming from somewhere further in the neighborhood. Because I didn't see any other reports in Michigan, and it cleared up after about, I'd say about 2 hours. And it didn't smell like plastic. It definitely had a woody smell this time. But somebody was probably burning something because it mixed with something else. So, you know, I'm not one to judge. It was just, you know, with everything that came through. And then it came, you know, thought it was your cannabis. No, it wasn't. That was the crazy thing. That smoke, I started smoking it yesterday, but I had to put it out. But that was actually smoke coming past my tablet. That's why I shined it at the light up at the... I turned my camera on and turned the other side on so that you guys could see it in the light, because you could see it moving in. And it's like, well, if that's a campfire, if somebody's got a fire going, I didn't know it was going to rise so far. So anyhow, as long as it wasn't your pants time. Nope, it was not. Not this time. You know, you never know what can happen. You know, I should come up with, well, we got to keep going here, because you know what else we have to do, and it's already been, I babble too much. It's been 28 minutes. We haven't even done FOMO Fridays yet for buying the $50 a solo. But before we can get to that, here, I'm assuming everybody wants to see what Judd McCaleb said. So listen to this. So this is back from 2019. And this is, who did I find this on? I don't even know why it came across my screen. I didn't find it. I was searching. This is the Stellar Development Foundation. At least that's what the name is. Only 11,200 subscribers. So I was searching Stellar. Yeah, the new FOMO Friday started last week, Devin. It's solo. We finished Casper. We got 10,000 tokens after 6 or 7 weeks. 9 weeks it took us to do H-bar. We got 10,057 tokens. Nope, Algo we're still doing Winning Wednesdays on. We've got 4,937 tokens. We do $75 a week. We still got 50% to go. We're going to be there for a while. But now we're doing solo. And solo only has a circulating supply of like 235 million. So it's, to me, if we're starting to talk about XRP with 59 billion or 60 billion now, or what is it at? 53 billion plus closer to 53.5 after they put the rest back. Now you got one with 235 million. It's a lot easier to move the needle there. So I don't like to speculate. I'm not even subscribed. I'm going to subscribe to the Stellar Development Foundation. I'm insulted that I'm not. This person should be anyhow. So this was the question and answer. And listen to the question. It's the question, and I have it perfectly set up. It's the question that is asked. They say XRP. They distinctly ask between XRP and XLM, how XRP is basically like more of a gas fee, and then how Stellar is put through. You'll hear. I don't want to do it an injustice. So just open up your ears because this is very important. I actually think, if you guys are paying attention, because this is where I say, is XRP, do they do this to make it the deceiver coin? And I'm the XRP future millionaire. So I know there's utility to it, but I'm saying when I say that, is it trying to overshadow XLM? Or even more, is XRP and XLM and XTC trying to overshadow something like Solo with such a low circulating supply? Or like Corium? Like, that's what we're trying to ask ourselves. So what we're trying to do is build our own ecosystem. We're building our own ecosystem, basically built on the XRP ledger of choice, with the ISO tokens and the Internet of Things. So why not build our own ecosystem? Just like with precious metals, I buy gold and silver. With crypto, I buy ISO and the Internet of Things. I can't help it that the inner pieces are like the silver bars is like buying a piece of Stellar Lumens, or like a silver round is like buying XDC, or if a gold bar is like buying XRP, you know, and a piece of platinum is like buying something else like algo. You know, I can't help it that it's breaking down into these pieces. I'm not saying they're linked to that, but that's how I look at it. These are all little pieces in a bigger puzzle. XRP is a main piece, but remember, with main pieces, you have to have stability. So if XRP is in fact the liquidity for all, it's going to have some kind of price that's set. Now, a lot of people say 10,000. Well, with the 53 billion circulating supply, it's going to be hard to have it at 10,000. I've always said, if it's going to be a stable coin and they have this kind of liquidity, the max I could see them doing it, just because it seems like a good number for this type of liquidity, was $1,000, and people rip me. I even have an episode that got like my 4th most views ever on YouTube, where I talk about XRP is the stable coin of all stable coins. And basically what that means is, with XRP, you can turn your algo into XRP and then it'll change out to cash. Well, basically, there's no step in between. With XLM, what they're trying to tell you, this is a good way to say it, if you turned your algo into XLM, you would have a sale of algo into Stellar, Stellar into USD, back into Stellar to resell it into USD. So, I mean, you're basically rewashing it twice removed, and it's a crazy process. And I don't even know if I even explained it properly, but it's such a minute thing, and you'll hear it within this. So please, I encourage you to join me. We still have FOMO Fridays. My intention on the lives is keep it moving, keep it entertaining. The charts are boring when you just do it 24/7. You know, I like to do 15, 20, 25 minutes of XRP now. I've figured out a new system. Then we go through XLM and some of the news and notes, and today we have Jed McCaleb. Then we go through whatever's next, and today it's Solo. So the 3 of choice, and we'll look at Bitcoin if we have time, but the 3 of choice right now is Solo is the last one. So now we got somebody fighting across the street, which is kind of funny. They're moving out too, so we'll see how this transpires here. If I have to, I'll turn my camera on so you guys can see it. Tanya, welcome in, love. Awesome to see you in here. Yes, Alessandro, I believe that is the case. XLM is here for us. So without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, for anybody who's late, the reason I'm showing this. Yes, MC Prosperity, I agree. So Richard, welcome in. And we're up to, what does that say now? 95 people that are going to very much find this very interesting. Make sure you hit that like button so we get more people in here. Hit the subscribe button if you have not done so. Matt, welcome in, and welcome to Tom's Army in the recent month. I greatly appreciate you, as he's got me abducted by aliens as a month badge. That's how I know. And my face is superimposed, true story. So basically what's going on here, Jed McCaleb was asked a question, and this is from 4 years ago. Jed McCaleb was asked, okay, with XRP, basically it's used more of like a gas fee. When you sell it, it goes from XRP into fiat, but there's no put back in and yada, yada, yada. With XLM, there's another element to it, and this is something I've tried to tell everybody over the years, but I think it gets overshadowed, which is why I think sometimes it does XLM a disservice, because I am the XRP future millionaire. You know, in my audience, a lot of them don't understand the connection to XLM and Stellar, the importance. So here, I'll let you listen to yourself. And if you have the cannabis, let them. If you got them, I appreciate the 95 of you tuning in right now on this holiday weekend. It's actually an impressive thing by each and every one of you. It's unbelievable.
We're working on now. So. As it stands, how will the native XLM token participate in WorldWire? And if any, how do you anticipate any sort of price fluctuation from its participation?
And this was from WorldWire, so listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the current model that I've seen is that between the financial institutions, the actual settlement can be done on lumens, right? So, or in some cases, some fiat token, right? So.
Lumens, for transparency, is XLM. That's lumens. So just remember that. When he says lumens, he's talking about XLM. That's the native token.
So it's like lumens are actually used like in the loop of transactions. So, I mean, we think that that's cool because it's like providing extra liquidity for lumens, and like lots of other contexts could potentially be used. But yeah, in terms of what that'll do for the price, no idea. But.
MC Prosperity, thank you so much for the $10 donation. I won't talk. Just thank you so much. I have to acknowledge somebody who's going to spend their hard-earned money. Thank you so much. And thanks, Tom, for your time educating us. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. NJ Guns, Z50 Cal, hey, Tom's Army, long time. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it. Out of New Jersey.
With WorldWire is your...
This is the question, everybody. This is the question of all questions. I just wanted you to hear the setup. Listen to the beautiful question. I'm not going to stop it anymore. We're going to listen to it for 4 minutes.
Plan to take more. If I look at Ripple, for example, right? So Ripple has X current and X rapid, right? So in one, they're not using XRP, and it's basically just ledgers getting updated across the bank, so Nostro accounts and so on. So is that what WorldWire is doing, or is it more use crypto to actually transfer, to do the cross-border conversion, meaning use crypto exchanges to do it?
It's not using crypto exchanges, but it is using the public network. So it isn't like a separate network or anything like that. So it's using the public Stellar network, and it's, you know, there's still parts of it are still being developed. I'm pushing them to use the actual Stellar DEX for the way that they're doing the currency conversion. Right now they're doing it internally, but it's still, the value is moving across the public network.
So it is public network, but clearly the currency translation is happening in the regular way. Like with Ripple also, if I look at it, it's not like XRP is being used for translating the currency, right? It's really...
Okay, I want you guys to hear that again, because I played this 4 times in a row when I was listening by myself. So if I replayed it 4 times, it's that important. MDF, thank you so much for the $20. Keep those donations going, he says. I thank you so much. Like, so generous. And driver, be safe picking up your son. Be safe. And I appreciate you tuning in as long as you could. This will be here when you get back. You can always rewatch it.
Right. So in one, they're not using XRP, and to take more.
Lots of other context.
Listen to this. This is so important, and it's still true today. NJ Gunn, thank you for the $1.99 to keep the vibes going. I love it. He said vibes on there. That is awesome. You found an emoji that said vibes. See, that is some true dedication. Thank you very much.
Could potentially be used. But yeah, in terms of what that'll do for the price, no idea. But yeah.
With WorldWire, is your plan to take...
How will the native XLM token participate in WorldWire? And if any, how do you anticipate any sort of price fluctuation from its participation? Yeah, I mean, I think the current model that I've seen is that between the financial institutions, the actual settlement can be done on lumens, right? So, or in some cases, some fiat token, right? So it's like lumens are actually used like in the loop of the transactions. So I mean, we think that that's cool because it's like providing extra liquidity for lumens, and like lots of other contexts could potentially be used. But yeah, in terms of what that'll do for the price, no idea. But yeah.
With WorldWire, is your plan to take more? If I look at Ripple, for example, right? So Ripple has X current and X rapid, right? So in one, they're not using XRP, and it's basically just ledgers getting updated across the bank, so Nostro accounts and so on. So is that what WorldWire is doing, or is it more use crypto to actually transfer to do the cross-border conversion, meaning use crypto exchanges to do it?
It's not using crypto exchanges, but it is using the public network. So it isn't like a separate network or anything like that. So it's using the public seller network, and it's there's still parts of it are still being developed. I'm pushing them to use the actual Stellar DEX for the way that they're doing the currency conversion. Right now they're doing it internally, but it's still the value is moving across the public network.
So it is public network, but clearly the currency translation is happening in the regular way, like with Ripple.
By the way, put this guy in Congress. This guy who's asking this question, we need to figure out who the hell this guy is. Give this guy a job. Like, give this guy something. This guy is who is this guy? He's asking the tough questions. Like, I literally was like, all right. I would back whoever this guy is. He's asking the right question.
Also, if I look at it, it's not like XRP is being used for translating the currency, right? It's really for updating the ledgers on both the sides.
Yeah, I don't know how the Ripple model works. At least in WorldWire, it is it goes from like some fiat token to lumens, from lumens to some other fiat token. So like that transaction.
So lumens is there in between.
Yeah.
So going back again to the protocol, given the exponential growth of Stellar, as we're seeing, a lot of tokens I think we are about 4,700 climbing right now, and I expect it to continue to grow exponentially. How are we planning, or are you planning with the protocol to handle this load? Because the transactions we can handle per second are quite significant compared to the other blockchains. But are we going to enforce a system where the nodes need to run like SSDs or faster CPUs and all of that to make sure that we can get more transactions?
By the way, I might play this from the beginning because this was so informative. Would anybody want to watch this from the beginning? After we do solo on FOMO Fridays, we'll take it more as a light Friday since we already went through the information. I think this is so valuable. I think this is, oh my God, the questions these people are asking, I don't even know. I could play it all. Okay, I'll play this part right here so we can finish the question. Then we'll do our solo. We'll look at the chart. We'll do our FOMO Fridays for our second installment of solo, which I'm so happy we're doing solo. You have no idea. A 235 million circulating supply. I don't even need to tell everybody in here what that means. And solo's been to $6. $6. And it's right around 9 cents right now. So it's happened before, and that's one I can honestly say it's going to happen again at some point. So it's in our best interest to have 10,000 tokens. Even though we have a small amount right now, we're going to go over the 1K mark today. Isn't that exciting? Very exciting. Remember how it worked with Casper and HBAR? It goes very quickly.
Right?
Oh, and I know people are going to leave, but the ones who stay are the ones who impress me.
Or do we just wait and see what happens? Is there any long-term planning for this? Because I'm watching the growth and it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the main thing the core team is focused on now is how we handle growth, right? And there's actually one of the things that was also in Protocol 11 is doing just that. It's actually much more efficient than before. There's some changes that make it be able to scale much better. So we're working on that dimension where we're making the actual software just be able to handle more load. And then we're also working on Starlight, which is kind of the payment channel system. And basically that a Starlight implementation will make it be able to handle much greater load, right? So there's that, and then like even longer term, we just released a blog about ZKVM, which is maybe a potential like way to migrate a lot of the transactions off the main Stellar network to this like kind of sidechain situation. So it's something that again, like that's basically what all the core team does is like figure out how to scale this thing once it does get much more adopted. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll play this from the beginning after we look at Solo and do FOMO Fridays. So anybody who wants to stick around, I think it's so important to understand what we're backing. I mean, I don't even think of another thing that I could think of that's more important. And you know what's funny about it? That is the least interesting stuff to the general audience, to the general populace. There's probably 10% of the people that understand. Also, I appreciate you saying that, Jay. So with Solo, and let's see how many. It might be over 235. It's over 235, but it's low. Maybe it's 400 million. I don't know. But it's not even close, anywhere close. Not SOL, damn it. Oh, wait a minute. I want to get one that actually is easy to see. So the current coin market cap, blah, blah, blah. Circulating supply of 399,947. So about a 400 million the max circulating supply is 400 million. And they have a circulating supply of 399.947 million. So let me ask you a question. If this is let me just ask a real question. So we know we're buying Solo, but what? Remember we did this with H-bar. Why the hell are we buying H-bar? Now we're going to find out. And watch Crypto Solo Scrooge. He can teach you a lot. But Sologenic launches SoloNex and CBDC tokenization solutions, integrates Fireblocks for institutional custody. This was a month ago. I should have talked about that before. I know Solo Scrooge and I promised him once I started getting going that we would start buying this and we would start covering this as well. So, I mean, if you need any reason to buy Solo and you don't know why I'm buying Solo, this is a great place to start. So, Sologenic launches SoloNex and CBDC tokenization solution. The fact they're in CBDCs at 9 cents with a 400 million max circulating supply, which they're at basically right now. Hello? If we're buying XRP with a 53 billion circulating supply, don't you think it's time for us to start adding some that have very small circulating supplies that can move? When you talk about a literal and figuratively a sleeping giant, these are what you need. You need small circulating supplies. In the world of crypto, if you're under $1 billion, it's tiny. It's tiny. Absolutely Sologenic's ISO compliant. Absolutely. Corium is as well. Solo is via XRP Ledger. It works its way in. I believe Corium, same thing. They have their own separate networks, but they find their way through the ledger. A lot of things find their way through the ledger. At least that's where they get some footing. But anyhow, Sologenic launches. Good question though, MC Prosperity. I would never tell you to buy anything that I don't believe is compliant with the ISO framework or the Internet of Things framework, because those both, the Internet of Things has to abide by the ISO framework ultimately. But the Internet of Things is going to run your smart houses, your smart cities. Anybody hear about the smart cities popping up? You're hearing it more in the news. It's kind of taboo right now. But for educational purposes, the smart cities, when they pop up, that's run on tokenization, digital tokenization. But it's run on the Internet of Things. And that's why I keep saying, guess what's in the Internet of Things? A token right now that's 006 in DGB. One that's about 1314 in VeChain. IOTA's in this Internet of Things. Those are your 3 cheap ones in the Internet of Things. VeChain, DGB, real cheap in the Internet of Things. IOTA, relatively inexpensive, just not super, super cheap. DGB is insanely cheap for being in the Internet of Things. And then the ones that are a little more expensive, Theta, you're getting up there. So Theta, and then the bigger one is Filecoin. Filecoin basically runs this whole thing together, and Filecoin is basically Internet 2.0 on its own. That's basically your new internet in Filecoin. Zill is not in the Internet of Things, so to say, but Zill has the Zaliqua network, which its primary function is to compete with Ethereum and basically be the new Ethereum, and it's made to run 10,000 times faster at minimum. JW, take it easy, Tom. Are you leaving or am I going too fast? Oh, I apologize. This is actually good information. I must tell you, this is when I'm my most excited when I'm talking about all these. And I promise anybody that is true, because with Zaliqua, I actually went through it with everybody in a live. So it's in a past live. And we went through the Zaliqua white papers. And I showed it where it said this. So that's why I keep saying, I know what I'm buying. And I'll be damned if I miss this time in history. No, I'm serious. Like, you had the .com stuff, I was too young. I was still not even past high school in the late 90s. I didn't graduate till 2002. But with this, everybody knows me as XRP Future Millionaire. But I swear, I need to start talking about more in parity with Zill, with VeChain, with the Internet of Things. But Zill, the question was about Zill being in the Internet of Things. Zill, besides being made to be that much more explosive than Ethereum, Zill is the Zaliqua network, but it's more on the not just, everybody says the memes. When I say the meme, it's not meme tokens. It's there for the gaming. It's the AI gaming. They have one of the most advanced AI intuitive gaming and ways of payment. So they basically have an AI world where Zill is a form of payment within the world. So the only way to buy stuff within this, we'll call it the Zaliqua sphere, the only way to buy it if you're within it is to transfer your native fiat into Zill tokens. Do you know how brilliant that is? Do you know how brilliant that is to bring in liquidity? So let's say I was playing, and imagine if it ever made this link. Imagine Zill goes from its platform, and now you start having games on like the PlayStation or Xbox or the computer. Imagine if one day, I know a lot of people probably play COD in my audience. Imagine if one day something like Zill, with their technology that they're already using in their own universe, they say, okay, well, in the digital era, in order to buy your COD tokens, you've got to take your digital dollar and buy these Zill tokens, and it'll turn into, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, I got you, JW. Well, that's why I pulled back on it real quick. But I think I'm allowed to talk about all of that because it's not in the bylaws. Like, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not questioning it. In fact, I think it's a great idea that they're doing it. But, you know, like I've been saying, we're backing a technology that, you know, it's not exactly best for our, let's say, freedoms. So anyhow, Sologenic, how many people are sticking around for this? 81, commendable. Sologenic launches Solonex and CBDC tokenization solutions, integrates Fireblocks for institutional custody. So I hope that answered the question about the Internet of Things. So Sologenic, a global frontrunner in blockchain tokenization technology, today announces the launch of 2 groundbreaking solutions. Solonex, a prominent asset tokenization brokerage solution. And if you want to learn more about this, watch Solo Scrooge and go back about a month. He covered this beautifully. That's when I first learned about it. I'm like, oh boy. After this big pump's over, we got to start buying. And I tried to line it up perfectly with Casper. I think we hit it pretty perfectly. And and a specialized custom-built CBDC tokenization solution geared at facilitating seamless financial transactions and advanced asset management. These pioneering solutions will bridge the gap between traditional and digital finance, providing a seamless tokenization entry point for institutions, banks, and government agencies. So do you guys think this is a good idea to do on FOMO Fridays? And for some of you, did you even know this was why I picked it and this is the connection? Out of curiosity. I mean, it's unbelievable. And there's a nice video that goes with this. The launch of SoloNext and CBDC tokenization solution represents Sologenic's most pivotal innovations to date. Remember how I said its connection into the ISO compliance is through the XRP ledger? The launch of SoloNext and our CBDC tokenization solution represents Sologenic's most pivotal innovation to date. By leveraging the XRP ledger's efficiency and scalability, we're empowering global financial institutions to partake in the tokenization revolution, commented Reez Bashish, CTO of Sologenic. The state-of-the-art Sologenic solution enables financial institutions. So basically, I could read this for 4 minutes or I could show you. So actually, first, let's do our FOMO Fridays. Let's go over the chart. We'll do our FOMO Fridays, and then you can see what you just bought and make yourself feel good. And then we'll end this by going back to that video we started with for 13 minutes. So, and I hope everybody's enjoyed this live, as it's a bit of a different stretch, but we're all going to start learning what we're buying, and that's why I like to do it like this. So Solo, we're still in this falling channel, which is a beautiful thing to see. We want this. We don't want to break out. Fortunately, we're getting a better buy again this week. We're down at around the 9-cent level. So we're trying to like this. So let's put together Tom's Army and helping homeless. Crypto honesty builds commodity. I agree, Law Docs. I agree. And think about it. If we do this right, a lot of things that you don't like, you'll be able to change in the future. Remember, somebody's got to buy the technology. Somebody's buying the technology and somebody's not. 99% of people won't buy what we're buying. How many people are looking at a token that's worth... Well, what is DGB today? What's my baby at? Oh, my baby's hurting. But that's okay. It's okay. You know why? Because DGB knows how it's been. DGB is going to go through the Grimstone. So it's at 00672. How many people are looking at a token that's 00672 but failed to realize that DGB was at like 16 cents in the bull run? Like, I mean, you want to talk about a steal? Hey, Tom, why can't I buy DGB in 2021? Because I can't afford to buy 62,000 tokens in 2021. That would have cost me way too much money on top of everything else. I'm always ready for you, Miss Vicky. So this is where we're at. Downtrending resistance before a breakout. We would have to break through this 9.2. Our next layer, we're going to have to go back, though, because we've created another resistance up here. 2 of them, the 10-1, but obviously higher. I don't really want to do the next layer because I'm in fantasy land that we're not going to break out yet. So, and I think we got a little more time here before we break out. I hope so. I don't hope. Let's go to the daily and let's see where we still stand. I don't know. We're running out of time. Fuck. Whoop, excuse my French. We could be running out of time. When are you going to start adding to DGB again? When it gets below 0.006, roughly, 20% below that, I'll start adding more. Not even. If it gets to like 0.0055, I'll probably add more. But 20% below. What airdrop means, it just basically means by holding XRP on an exchange, they take a screenshot of it and they'll send you whatever token. They'll send you a token that maybe in the future, like the way I got my first solo, I got an airdrop for holding XRP on Uphold. Nothing crazy. With 10,000 tokens, I maybe got, it wasn't even worth it because it went up when it happened, and then I just ended up selling it at $6. Only because I knew in the future I was going to buy it, but it obviously could not sustain it. It went all the way to $6 after that. ZIL, DGB, and others been around a long while. People putting money in bull run and won't know about them. Oh, shoot. People won't know about them as much as, say, Gala. The older ones don't get a lot of media. Yeah, that's true. Gala is one that I definitely should have covered at some point, but there's just so many to try to get in. So there's nothing I like Gala, but you know, I can't cover everything. You know, so there's certain ones that I know in my heart what I want. And Gala is one of them in the end. I don't want to add Gala, I just want to see this chart. What is... Fine. Goodbye, U.S. oil. We got business real quick. It's at 1.8. See, that's a good price for Gala right now. Wow. Man, and that's in a really big falling channel as well. 1.8 is a supreme price for Gala. I didn't realize it had come down so much now. I'm going to have to keep my eye on that. Thank you. You got my head spinning now. That is very true. That's why I've been trying to talk about the V-chains of the world and the ZIL and the IOTA and all these good ones. DGB. But right now we're buying solo. So here, let's do this real quick before everybody else leaves. And then we got to get through this because I got stuff to do in a little bit. My son was a little sick earlier. He didn't throw up, but he kind of like spit up because our weather's been weird. Cold to hot. So we'll see. He fell asleep. Nothing more than that from earlier. So no fever or anything. So he was still eating. So we'll hope he got it all out because he was acting very happy after. But Gala, I did not know it was at 1.8, damn it. So we might be buying Gala. No joke. We might have to figure something out because 1.8 for Gala, that's actually, man, that is insane. I remember when Gala, what is their supply at right now? 23 billion, 375 million, 100. Okay. That's what, see, that's not even terrible. What's V-chain at these days? Ooh, see, some of these ones are way up there, but we're not expecting V-chain to get to $1 million. But V-chain 72 billion. Some of these are up there though. Remember, they gotta. But like DGB, 16.4 billion. That's pretty good. That's not terrible for DGB. Its max is 21 billion, so almost 1/5 the size. And then I just wanted to see ZIL real quick. And a lot of people don't understand the circulating supplies, which I don't know. I don't know how you can't put stock into circulating supplies. But with XRP, you realize it needs circulating supply if it's going to take over the whole on-demand liquidity. That's where people rip on it. They're making fun of something that they don't understand. Yeah, 21 billion is the max for ZIL. So basically what DGB's is. So anyhow, we'll get into FOMO Fridays here. Oh, wait a minute. We need that page. That's how you're going to watch the video of what solo is. Shoot. I mean, it's all right. I look at all this stuff all the time, so it's not like I can't go back to it. All right. So solo right now is at about 9 cents. Right now, our average price is 9024. The current price is 9078. We have 565 tokens. So we're going to buy. We're going to do, I always do 51 to pay for the 99-cent fee for a low transaction on uphold. So that will be 537 tokens. So we're going to preview trade. We're going to confirm trade. So it's confirmed. So Solo, we now have an average price of 9249. 0981 is what it's at. And we have 1,102 tokens. So there's our transparency for you. And I have it inverted because it's, you know, you're seeing me. So believe it or not, I'm inverted. I should be the other way. Well, at least from what you can see. So we're going to go into this. Then we're going to go into the video. And please let me know if you have Solo. Please. And we're going to probably, I don't know how much stuff we can add. You know, because eventually we're all going to go broke. But we might have to have like a Gala Mondays or something. I'm being serious because at 019, that's literally, at 019, really, at 019, what am I talking about? We can have fun with Gala. Literally. At 019, you know, this is one. And Tanya is the reason I have H-bar right now. And I'm so happy to have it. And I don't even care if it goes to 0005. You know, because it's one that I want. Because it's part of the whole next chapter. But another one that I've always just, it's eluded me for whatever reason is Gala. And Gala being at 19, it still doesn't seem possible. I haven't looked at it in so long. Like, it almost got me thinking, like, what are you doing? Like, at 19? Do you know how high Gala was at one point? I mean, we're talking 80 friggin' cents. And I remember when people used to ask me, I'm like, I'm not paying that much. I'll buy it when it comes to 10 cents. And now it's at 1 cent. Or 1.8. Like, that's unfathomable. I said I'd buy it at 90% off, not 99. So let's see something real quick. I might have to institute an emergency policy. Because literally, this is one like with DGB, with Zill. It's so cheap that you're talking $189 for 10,000 tokens. So right now, this is going to be the first that I'm going to do an additional installment. We're going to do $50 a gala on FOMO Fridays until we get 10,000 tokens as a community. It just has to be done. It's so cheap right now that we're buying into it at a perfect time. And this is one that I've always wanted to have. So I would be pissed if I didn't do it. And I feel like Tanya said something today Miss Vicky said something today for a reason. And I'm glad you did, because this is one, like I used to tell Tanya, for whatever reason it eluded me. So I'm doing this. I'm doing this until we get to 10,000 tokens. So right now I'm doing the $50, and it is what it is. I'm going to have to work a little extra harder now, you know, and that's just the way it has to be. Sometimes you have to work harder, so now I'm just going to have to work a little bit harder. But I believe this is one that I would literally be so pissed off at myself if I did not do this. Well, because I've not talked much about Gala on the air because I don't want to get myself too off the rails, because it's one in the back of my head that it's the same as how it is with Solo and Corium and H-Bar. Those are ones that in the back of my head, if somebody could just bring it up. But at 1.8, it's like 1.8. Like, I literally remember when it was at like 80 or 85 or whatever it was. Okay, I'm going to do it. $51. God help us all. I just couldn't live with myself not buying something at that price. And to think, guys and gals, 10,000 tokens would have cost you $8,300 at the top. 10,000 tokens now, $189. I mean, think about that. These are when you get rich off of things. And even if it goes down, you spent less than $200 to try to put something together at its top would be worth over $8,000. I mean, think about that. That's the same thing I've been talking about. These are, whew. So I just made the first purchase. We're going to get 10,000 tokens over the next 4 weeks, roughly. So the first purchase on Gala, we did it. And we're sitting at already 2,657 tokens. It gave us a 1919 average, and the price is at 1845, just so you can see the markup. So there we go. We're on the right track. Thank you, Miss Vicky. No more. I'm buying no more than 10,000. That's my deal. That's my deal with FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays, because that's my personal philosophy. Unless it's like DGB, Zillion, VeChain, I have 22,222, but that's because of when I started. Nothing says in the future I wouldn't add more, but as far as it goes on these episodes, this is what we'll do. So Gala found its way into the rotation all of a sudden. And Miss Vicky, thank you. So, and with Gala, now I can cover Gala finally on my channel. And now I can cover the inner workings of Gala so people can understand why it's so cool. And now I can actually do updates. And when people say, well, what are you doing? I'm going to say, well, I'm a personal investor. I got to know what's going on. And if it, you know, you can't blame me. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just your neighborhood friend who's trying to do technical analysis the best he can, right? I'm going to start playing it off like that because people say I'm not a professional. I'm sorry. Why would you take my advice? I'm just a guy on the... I'm literally doing my updates on the hood of my car outside. And that's not a joke. Yep. On the top of, mind you, you want to know what my thing is that it sits on? It sits on top of my gardening bucket. It was an old like 8-gallon or 10-gallon bucket. And that's how it sits up so high. Oh yeah, nobody knows, do you? You don't know. Lose y'all. I might have just lost you. By no fault of everybody's. I think I just lost you. Can you guys, can you see me or no? Because my internet cut out and went back on, so I don't know. Oh, so you're here. Yeah, my internet said it went off and back on real quick. Oh, thankfully. Hey, 99 people here, 99 likes. That's pretty interesting. So if anybody wants to, that's why I always say you can do it. It's just going to take a little bit of, like when I'm inside, I have a little bit nicer setup. But outside, I like to show you the maple tree behind me. But it's nothing special. I just sit on top of my car. And this car I haven't driven in like 2 years. So I make the best of my car. Or you're not even be able to see. Oh yeah, it's not going to show it because I'm live. I'm not going to be able to show the flashlight. But anyhow, forget my car. Forget the car. George, thanks for the $2. I appreciate that. It might be, but like I said, I found my zen again. So sometimes I'm a little off balance. And that's what I said. You'll know if I'm fighting the criticism wall based on my zen. And it was getting to me for just about 2 days. Not criticism, but the negative energy. See, I'm a person who feeds off of I can feel everybody's energy. So I'm in over 18,300 collective souls of energy. It makes it, sometimes I got to remember, I've got to bring the light, because then it divides that negative energy from the good energy. And then the ones who have that pure energy will stay and follow in the trend. If I'm trending towards a negative type of perspective or have that bad energy, I'm going to seek out more people that have that energy and get rid of the ones with the positive energy because they don't want to be a part of that negative energy, as I don't either. That's been my biggest growth in 2023 is I've been able to, and the problem is I wasn't able to work out a lot. So I wonder if the reason why today I feel a little bit better is because for the first time since I hurt my hand, and that's why I did this. Like I don't have full bending, but remember how little I could bend my hand? So my hand is getting pretty close now. So I was able to lift today, and I only was able to get through one set, but I was able to do dumbbells, curls. Mind you, it was only, what was it on each side? 10 pounds on each side, but I was able to grip it enough with my hands. My right hand I could do normal now, but my left hand I can't. So I could do 10 pounds, and I did 4 sets of 15. So at least I was able to grip a little bit. So I mean, that was done on 4th of July, so it's been a long road, let's just put it that way. So that's what's going on with Gala right now. That's the formation, so we got time with Gala. So anyhow, let's get back into not this. We'll get into this after to finish. But we'll go to this and then finish the episode. As we have already I've taken much too long, at an hour and 16 minutes. But I appreciate all the generosity. Make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. But yeah, you all need to watch the Silver series. And ATK, I'm so glad you were able to buy your first parts of Silver now. It was a tremendous series, but it only got on average about 350 views per episode. It was an 11-part series so far. It's a running series. I'm going to do an update soon. And for anybody who bought solo, remember 399.9 million circulating supply, 400 million max circulating supply, and this is why you're buying it. Tom, when you get the negative energy, play your song Sunny Days, don't let them drain in you. Yes, absolutely. But the ones who make me realize, and the ones who help me push past it very quickly, are the ones who will make a comment and say, no reason to feed into it. Pulling, and that's just, there's no point. So like today, there was a few comments in there. I don't know if anybody noticed. In the beginning, there was a few. I just didn't acknowledge it. And I think it worked out much better just not acknowledging it. So I thank everybody who continues to build me up. And I'm a very empathetic person. So I feel, I'm built on empathy. Jose, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation. Super generous. Most people will leave. I would assume there's probably 71 people in here right now. 73 people in here right now. Hey, I know my audience. But I also know the ones who actually want to learn. So here we go. So if you bought solo, eat your heart out.
A new and global industry has taken off. The industry of asset tokenization. Welcome to the Tokenizer, the leading global data, information, and news platform.
Hey, wait a minute. What the hell is
solely
this?
to asset tokenization.
Did they add one of their sponsored videos in here? Well, now I'm going to have to show you that at a later date. That's okay. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I thought they had the video in here. Did they put their own advertisement here, you bastards?
The industry of asset.
They did. They snuck it in here. Not today, we haven't. So anyhow, we're going to play this, and then I got to go after. Awesome, Jorge. And yeah, just small amount in the gala. But this is the 13-minute video, so have fun. We'll listen to this.
WorldWire launch.
It keeps kind of progressing and being
Online community.
we got a new executive director.
Focus more on developing the Stellar platform.
I have a different role now. I do have a different role now. I'm not CTO. I guess I'm calling myself chief architect. Essentially, we got Danelle Dixon, who is the former COO of Mozilla, to come be the executive director and kind of take over a lot of the business side stuff and do a lot of stuff that we weren't doing before. For instance, We're going to start doing a lot of more like policy outreach, things like this that we just weren't addressing before, which is super important for us to do. And my role will be more on the architecture side, making sure the protocol keeps kind of progressing and being developed in a good way. And yeah, so from my point of view, it's great because that's actually what I want to be doing and I'm better at. So it should be good all in all.
What do you see as the biggest roadblock for Stellar to become mainstream?
So it's sort of the same roadblock that all crypto projects have, is that they all depend really heavily on network effects. And so actually building that network is the biggest challenge. And I think that's why crypto has actually been slow to be useful out in the world.
Richard,
a lot of people like it, but like it's not actually being used that widely, and it's because the network hasn't been developed yet. And we've got some ways that we think will solve this problem, and we're kind of putting them into place over this year. And so hopefully we'll basically like be able to break this like network barrier and have it become useful. So.
All right, the third question I have here is about WorldWire, which we were really excited to talk about this year. And the question is, what kind of initial feedback have you received since the WorldWire launch in March?
I go dark.
Yeah, so WorldWire is obviously pretty exciting. We've had lots of people approach us and mainly IBM about wanting to get on the WorldWire platform. You know, we're super excited to have that become live, and we're working with them to make that a reality.
Switching gears a little bit, can you talk about some of the changes to the protocol coming in version 11?
Sure, yeah. So Protocol 11 has a lot of...
Mind you, if anybody's just tuning in, this is from 2019.
You know, bug fixes and like minor things. The major things that it does is it changes the way fees are handled. Right now, you have to specify the exact fee you want to pay for a transaction, and now you can specify the max fee you're going to pay. And so if the network is under load, your transaction will still go through without having to kind of guess what the load will be at that particular instant. And so it seems kind of technical, but it matters for, you know, wallet developers or people actually using the software, because now they can just set or even like smart contract developers, because now in the future they don't have to worry about what the fee is. They can just set it to something high, and then they're going to pay the lowest possible rate when the transaction actually goes through the network. So it's
And if you're using JM Bullion, I never pay for expedited delivery. I take the free delivery based on my purchase price, and I never pay for the, just FYI, I always do standard delivery. Don't care. I'll let the post office deliver it. You know, I'm not paying extra to deliver my stuff. So the whole point of buying the precious metals is to keep it as close to spot price as possible. So that's just me with JM Bullion. Scottsdale Mint, same thing. If I do that, but that's through crypto. JM Bullion's if I'm using fiat.
It sounds kind of esoteric, but it's actually pretty important for like growth of the network. Coupled with that was we also changed the way the limits in Stellar work. Before it was per transaction, and now the limits are per operation. And basically the distinction is a transaction can have multiple operations, and that's kind of what it is, right? So basically the limit is now per operation, so you don't have to like guess, because most transactions just have one operation, but you have to worry that some transactions would have like 100 anyway. But it's going to make it where it's just a little more efficient to actually like send things through the network.
Has the Stellar Development Foundation given additional thoughts on inflation and what you see as next steps?
Sure, yeah. I mean, from my point of view, I think there's different views within SDF of what we should like, how inflation should be handled in the network. My personal view is that inflation is cool, but it's ultimately more complicated than what it's worth, like what it's kind of providing for the network. So I'd like to see it kind of deprecated and we just move to this non-inflationary world. I think there's a kind of broad support in the community for that. I mean, I know there's a few projects that are depending on inflation, but I think in general, people are supportive of that view. So it'd be cool if like somebody kind of took it upon themselves to like write the actual cap, which is how these protocol changes go. And if somebody actually goes and writes that, then I think we can kind of get it pushed through. So.
Great. Well, that concludes the online question and answer section, and we'd love to have you guys. We have a mic right up here, so if you have any questions, please get in line.
Hi, my name is Filippo Jacob. I'm from Pigsby, and we've developed our technology on Stellar as well. So what sort of industries do you see will help?
So if you're a fan of XLM, or if you own XLM, this is vital information. That, yes, I went back and watched stuff from 4 years ago because I like to, but I'm always trying to pick up things. So I watched this over and over until I was like, you know what? I think this has value, a lot of value, especially when it gets to where I showed you earlier.
Stellar become a mainstream or bring mainstream usage to the network?
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Ah, you know, I gotta deal with this shit.
To the network.
Thanks, Stellar Foundation.
So Stellar's a pretty general platform. Really, it's just a distributed database, so you can do lots and lots of things with it. So I don't know what thing will ultimately make it mainstream. I think our view is that it's the most obvious problem or the most painful problem that like blockchain type things solve is cross-border payments. So we're definitely very focused there, but we're supportive of people like trying to do other things on it. You know, there's all kinds of other initiatives like, you know, tokenizing real estate or like, you know, issuing other kinds of things into the network or using it for like IoT kind of stuff. Like people are doing all kinds of stuff that's not squarely what SDF is focused on. Most of our effort goes into like this cross-border payment use case where we really think that, you know, moving money between a lot of, particularly like developing countries is really cumbersome now, and there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think Stellar is a big part of the solution there. So, yeah.
So Ernest from FinTech Limited. So my question is, are there any plans in the evolutionary trajectory of the protocol to be able to support, like maybe leaving the inflation option and diverting that to like something like what we have with Dash, with master nodes, where there's an incentive for third-party users to be able to integrate to the Stellar blockchain, but at the same time have an incentive to build out the nodes, because I'm concerned about the nodes we have, and I feel that to protect the network, we need to increase this. So is there anything in the horizon, you know, if I use that word, to be able to support,
ATK,
like transfer these incentives over to people who run sort of these independent nodes to protect the network and scale it?
Yeah, I mean, people have proposed this. The issue is it's very hard on a protocol level to tell who those people are. I mean, this is what the original inflation mechanism was kind of designed to do. It allowed people to kind of vote for these things. So like if you thought someone was particularly helpful for the ecosystem, you could point your inflation there. But in practice, I mean, this happens only in a couple cases. I mean, I think the Lobster wallet
which is a
gets
better
inflation
one for
pointed there.
gold.
There's a few other things that get it.
Probably
But for the most part,
gambling
people
options.
just join these inflation pools and just get it back to themselves. So I don't know of a way that you could do it, because the protocol doesn't know if you're a or if you're a node or like a proper validator. Like it doesn't know these things for the protocol level. So it has to be someone outside the system determining this. And it just doesn't seem in practice that people are actually doing this properly. I think we need to just do other things to like get people to run validators. And a lot of it is just education, frankly. I think it's not really, you know, if you're a business that's using Stellar, it's not a big ask to run a Stellar validator. We just need to like explain it to people better and like show them how to do it, which we're working on now, so.
As it stands, how will the native XLM token participate in WorldWire? And
So this is where we were at, remember? So you've seen a lot of the beginning was kind of mumbo jumbo, a lot of basic, but when you get to this part of it, this is when you need to have your ears on. So after this, I'm going to let you go. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I will be here every step of the way, live every single day. I do things as if I do what I do. So yeah, so enjoy the rest of this. Appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, we're the light in a world surrounded by darkness. So it's our job to keep this world full of love, not hate.
if any, how do you anticipate any sort of price fluctuation from its participation?
Yeah, I mean, I think the current model that I've seen is that between the financial institutions, the actual settlement can be done on lumens, right? So, or in some cases, some fiat token, right? So it's like lumens are actually
welcome,
used like
everybody.
in the loop of the transactions. So, I mean, we think that that's cool because it's like providing extra liquidity for lumens, and like lots of other contexts could potentially be used. But yeah, in terms of what that'll be for the price, no idea. But yeah.
With WorldWire, is your plan to take more? If I look at Ripple, for example, right? So Ripple has X current and X rapid, right? So in one, they're not using XRP, and it's basically just ledgers getting updated across the bank, so Nostro accounts and so on. So is that what WorldWire is doing, or is it more use crypto to actually transfer to do the cross-border conversion, meaning use crypto exchanges to do it?
It's not using crypto exchanges, but it is using the public network. So it isn't like a separate network or anything like that. So it's using the public Stellar network,
I believe the same thing,
it's,
Sam.
you know,
Right
there's still
on.
parts of it are still being developed. I'm pushing them to use the actual Stellar DEX for the way that they're doing the currency conversion. Right now, they're doing it internally, but it's still, the value is moving across the public network.
So it is public network, but clearly the
God, get this guy a job,
currency
I swear.
translation is happening in the regular way. Like with Ripple also, if I look at it, it's not like XRP is being used for translating the currency, right? It's really for updating the ledgers on both the sides.
Yeah, I don't know how the Ripple model works. At least in WorldWire, it is like it.
Imagine the guy who helped create XRP doesn't know how the. I thought it was funny when he said that, but think about it. There's a big difference here between XRP and XLM. So XLM is clearly made for me and you. That's where XRP is made for a lot of money coming in and out.
Like it goes from like some fiat token to lumens, from lumens to some other fiat token.
Hey, Con, welcome.
So like that transaction.
So lumens is there in between.
Yeah.
So going back again to the protocol, given the exponential growth of Stellar, as we're seeing, a lot of tokens are, I think we are about 4,700 climbing right now, and I expect it to continue to grow exponentially. How are we planning, or are you planning with the protocol to handle this load? Because I mean, the transactions we can handle per second are quite significant compared to the other blockchains. But are we going to like enforce a system where the nodes need to run like SSDs or faster CPUs and all of that to make sure that we can get more transactions?
Fuck, there's that other
right?
guy's assistant right here.
Do we just wait and see what happens? Is there any long-term planning for this? Because I'm watching the growth and it's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the main thing the core team is focused on now is how we handle growth, right? And there's actually one of the things that was also in Protocol 11 is doing just that. It's like actually much more efficient than before. There's some changes that make it be able to scale much better. So we're working on that dimension where we're like making the actual software just be able to handle more load. And then we're also working on Starlight, which is kind of the payment channel system. And basically that a Starlight implementation will make it be able to handle much greater load, right? So there's that, and then like even longer term, we just released a blog about ZKVM, which is maybe a potential like way to migrate a lot of the transactions off the main Stellar network to this like kind of sidechain situation. So it's something that again, like that's basically what all the core team does is like figure out how to scale this thing once it does get much more adopted. So yeah.
My question for you, Jed, is, I mean, this is your baby. This is what you've created. Many years ago, you've been involved in many projects. So to kind of see, I'm curious from your perspective, there's a lot of projects that are happening right now, things are being built on it. Which one in particular, is there anything in particular out there that excites you the most to see being implemented on your platform?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick a favorite.
Sure, but if you could, right?
There's a lot of super interesting things, and like over the last year, it's been great to see like the level of quality and like what's being built on the platform has just like gone up dramatically. So
right.
I'm super excited. Like most of the people here are like building stuff on Stellar, which is super awesome. So you know, it's just great to see. Like not just me, everyone on the team sees like the energy in the ecosystem is just increasing, and it's awesome.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, hey, again, thank you guys.
Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in for this. On the way out, we'll just see where XRP's at. 4973 still hanging around the same area. We know what we're looking for. We're looking for that rejection in the smaller time frame. And if we do get this, we've come up here now almost. But if we get the proper rejection up here, your next target would be down here at about 44.6, which is at the bottom of the channel. If you can break past this on a thinly traded weekend, maybe you can come up a little higher. But right now, we look to have lower ambitions. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you got anything out of this, please make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I appreciate everybody who stuck it out this